Today. The title of today's live is We're Already There. And, that's a visionary statement when it comes to accomplishing things that we haven't accomplished before. The most important thing that we can do is visualize that we're already there. And Kimmy and I, just one of the things that you do here when you're in the weird time zones is you wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and, Kimmy worked for a couple hours and then we started watching a movie that we fell asleep to last night. And the movie that I'm going to encourage you all to watch is called Hidden Numbers. So many great messages in this movie, Hidden Numbers. This is a movie about African-American women in the 60s that were critical components in the space program, the NASA space program. Maybe give me a high five here if you've watched this movie. If you haven't watched it, boy, I really encourage you to watch it. What an inspirational, educational, eye-opening movie Hidden Numbers is. The first thing that struck me in watching this movie is the Dalai Lama's statement that he made in 2009 at a peace conference in Western Canada. The Dalai Lama said, "The Western woman will save the world." And I've always thought about that statement in the context of world leadership and national leadership and nation building and just leadership in general. That what is it about women's leadership that could save the world? What is it about women's leadership that's so powerful and perhaps different enough from men's leadership that it is something to embrace and look forward to? And a couple of things occurred to me when it comes to women's leadership. One is heart. Women just, I don't know why, hormones, maybe genetics, I don't know, motherhood. They have heart and everything that comes with heart. They have compassion. They have passion. They feel things that, men don't feel. And think of how powerful, that could be in leading companies and leading nations and leading organizations if our leadership felt what other people feel. And of course, I did reflect on, the most recent senseless shooting and whether or not the leadership of our country, and I'm not talking about Trump, I'm talking about all the leadership of our country, whether or not we really feel what those parents feel and those brothers and sisters feel. And if we really felt what they feel, like if it was our child, what would we do about it from a leadership standpoint? Would we be in deadlock over policies? Or would we say, screw that shit and fix it somehow? That's the heart part, that's what women bring to leadership is they feel stuff that not every person, especially not all men, feel. And then, the other thing that struck me about this movie, Hidden Numbers, was, how smart women are. So this little thing floated by my, I think it was on Facebook. Some of you have probably seen it. It's like an IQ test. And the advertisement was, the average IQ is something like 100 points, and the range is, 90 to 133. And here, click here to check your IQ. So, of course, I bit. And, 15 minutes later, I'm, finishing up this IQ test. And I think I did pretty good. I kind of whizzed through it. There was a couple of questions I couldn't even answer, so I just skipped them. But the rest of them, I'm like, oh, got this, got that, got this. And it wasn't questions about information. It was a spatial orientation test, which, I don't know, I don't particularly like those. But anyway, I was surprised to see my IQ was, drum roll, below average. 98. That was my IQ according to this test, which was clearly, according to the chart, below average, which that was a humbling experience. But what was so inspiring about this movie, Hidden Numbers, was, how much smarter the women were than all the men, all the suits, all the white guys, all the educated guys, how much smarter they were. And I mean, like, the movie is about 3 different women that took on 3 major parts of the space program, and continued in vital roles for decades in the space program because they were clearly smarter than men. Now, I'm not suggesting all women are smarter than all men. I'm just suggesting this, that leadership does require intellect. It does require that, you know, a person can see things that other people don't see and put 2 and 2 together and solve problems. And, you know, that's the kind of leadership that I think is going to save the world. Leaders with heart and leaders that are smart. And the third thing that I'll end with here in leadership is courage. And this movie just did a phenomenal job of displaying the courage that these 3 women had. I mean, they definitely had heart, and they had everything that goes with heart. They definitely had intellect. But most importantly, they had courage. And so where does courage come from? You know, what is courage? Courage, in my mind, is nothing more than, you know, we see the potential negative outcome. We see the possibility for failure. We see the possibility for pain. We see the possibility perhaps of humiliation. We see the possibility of getting hurt, and we do it anyway. And so where does that come from? Where does courage come from? Is that genetic? Is that something we learn from our parents? And I don't think so. You know, my studying of the subject concludes that courage comes from motivation. You know, motivation is that story in our head that we're already there, like the problem's already solved, like the outcome is going to prevail in our favor. And it's not that we don't see the potential setbacks, we don't see the potential dangers, we just do it anyway. We just dive in and do it anyway. And, you know, why is that? Because we're motivated to. Our story of winning and succeeding and contributing is a more powerful story than the potential setbacks. And so we're thrown into action. And so it's not about, you know, a purple star kind of courage, like, you know, I was more scared than anyone else, but I did it anyway. I say people with courage are actually less afraid than other people. I mean, you can't have courage unless you see the potential setbacks, the potential harm. If you don't see it, courage isn't required. But if you see it and you do it anyway, get the sun on my face here, I guess it's better. If you do it anyway, that's what courage is all about. And that's just 3 things that I invite you to all think about when it comes to leadership. You know, think about your heart and think about your intellect. You know, and you know, some people may say, well, you know, that's genetic. I don't think intellect is genetic at all. A couple of days ago, I did a live on the distinction of distinctions. And for me, intellect is all about distinctions. You know, last couple of days, I've gone surfing. Never been surfing before. And, you know, before I went surfing and I had a first surf coach, I only had one distinction for surfing, and that was you got a wave, you got a surfboard, and you're riding the wave. That was the only distinction I had for surfing. But as I'm learning to surf from my coach, what I'm asking him about is the various distinctions. You know, like there's probably 20 different distinctions just about which wave to catch. I mean, we waited wave after wave after wave, and we didn't take those waves. And I asked him, okay, what's missing with this wave? What is it about this wave? And he said, well, that one's cresting too high, or that one's not cresting enough, or that one's dirty where we need to surf. I mean, he has all these distinctions for just which wave to catch. And then there's distinctions about when to catch the wave. And then there's distinctions about how to catch the wave. And then there's distinctions about how to get up on the board. As far as I got was my knees. I caught 4 waves on my knees, which was kind of humiliating, but hey, that's a start. You know, it's like learning to ride a bike. And then I listened to the instruction that he gave Kimmy. Kimmy's an accomplished surfer, but he gave her some distinctions about how to accelerate and how to slow down and how to pivot and how to catch the wave actually without even paddling for it. All different distinctions. Somebody that has mastery of surfing probably has 40, 50, 60, I don't know, 100 different distinctions. I have one. Makes me an idiot when it comes to surfing. So how do you get intellect? I think the connection between intellect, non-intellect, and intellect is distinctions. And as you watch this movie, if you watch the movie Hidden Numbers, which I encourage you all to do, just notice the distinctions that are in play. And notice whatever it is you want to do with your life, whatever it is you want to master, how many distinctions do you have? And look at the people who have mastery over that subject or that profession and ask, what distinctions do they have that you don't have? And go after those. That's intellect. And the last is courage. And courage is just that conversation that has us leap into action when other people are paralyzed. And where does that come from? Probably the most profound statement in the whole movie Hidden Numbers was, we're already there. We're already there is a story about not that we want to go there, not that we're trying, not that we're going to do our best. For whatever it is we want to accomplish, the story we have is we're already there. And yeah, there might be some things to figure out between point A and point B, a whole bunch of distinctions and a whole lot of heart. But that's how you get from point A to point B, is declare that you're already there.